quick video on what to look for when you're buying a dairy goat. I have Nigerian dwarf goats, but a lot of this information you could apply to any goat that you're looking for. Specifically, I'm just going to talk about udders. Sorry, I don't know why we're so backlit. It's cloudy outside. What to look for in an udder. And some of this is just what I prefer. Other people will prefer other things. But just my experience from both hand milking and milking with a machine, really what you want to look for in a goat. I don't have a lot of feed, so I'm going to bring in a couple of the girls and talk about the differences in their udder and texture and teat shape and this kind of thing. So I hope that this is helpful. And I will say, when I talk about udder quality and what you're looking for, I'm talking about to milk. I'm not necessarily talking about for show. These are qualities in a goat that I would think even if you're showing you would want. But this is if you're talking about a homestead goat that you're going to milk, things that you want. So things that I look for, you can kind of see with Zelda, she has these really nice long teats, which means I can get my whole hand around those teats. She has nice long teats. You can see how nice my hand fits around them. She has large teat orifices, so when I milk her, a lot of milk comes out. You see how big that stream is. And her udder texture is nice and soft. It's not stiff. I'm not having to strain when I do this. It's really easy. It's very comfortable. She's also, like, we're drying off, so she's pretty empty, but it's not stiff and tight, and she has nice long teats with a nice big teat orifice. That makes an easy milker. And you can see her udder from the back. She has really nice attachment, so her udder is nice and tightly attached on the sides. I haven't shaved it in a while, so it's hard to see. She's kind of hairy, but she's attached really well. She has a good, strong ligament here. This isn't totally smooth, but there's not a huge indentation. And a lot of times when you're looking at goats, you're going to be looking at their mom, and you're going to be buying a baby. So those are things to look at on the doe, on the baby's dam, or her mother. Okay, so this is Cece's udder. Her udder is quite a bit bigger. Again, we're drying off. You can see she has this nice ligament here. She has good attachment here. So her udder is not just like a big pendulum in space. She has it's nice and solid. She also has really nice long teats. So she also has these nice long teats. And I don't know what I did with my strip coat. But you can also see, left-handed milking, let's try this. She has really nice teat orifices. So a nice big stream of milk, and she has really nice udder texture. Her udder is nice and soft and pliable, and her teats are nice and soft and pliable. So long teats, not too skinny, not too fat, nice soft udder, and nice teat orifices. Tinks being super unhelpful. So for Nani's udder is a little different. So Cece and Cece and Zelda come from the same breeder. Nani and Bunny come from a different breeder. So you can see again, she has nice strong, she's not gonna like this. She has a nice strong ligament, she has good attachment. She has nice teat shape. The thing that I don't like about Nani is she doesn't have great udder texture. So her udder is really kind of hard and tough. It's not as supple, it's not as easy, she's not as easy to milk. And the second thing is she has really tiny teat orifices. Again, try to left-hand milk. So you can see nice big teats, really easy to grab, nice and long. She hasn't been milked in a couple of days. You can see how tiny, I don't even know that you can see the stream coming out of her teat. It is so small. So it takes way longer to milk her. So even though her udder looks really good, if you didn't grab it and milk her, you wouldn't know that she has those tiny teat orifices. They're kind of a pain. It's not as big of a deal with the machine, but it's definitely stinks when you're trying to hand milk. Twiz. Twiz is not the greatest, but she does have a good ligament, good attachment. She has really good udder texture. So she has a nice, soft and pliable udder. The thing that is hard with her is these tiny teats. You can see how tiny these teats are. So when I'm trying to hand milk her, and I have guys that have really tiny hands, so you can imagine if you have big hands, you can see like I can barely get to hand milk her. And you can see she also has kind of tiny, smaller teat orifices, not as small as Nani, and that's improved. Again, with the machine, it's not really an issue. I cannot hand milk her out. Like, I don't have the strength. I can't start from the beginning and milk her out. She also has a lot of capacity. She's a very full udder all the time with all her babies. Again, texture is wonderful. It's very soft and supple. Her attachment's good. Her ligaments are good. She's a very dairy little animal. She has really good structure. She's not fat, unlike Cece. She's a great little animal, but she has tiny little teats. And so that's something just to consider. Hi guys, it's Tuesday. And sorry, Duke. You wanna say hi? Yes, so say hi. Or go doggy. Yes. Oh, she best doggy. I shot a little bit of a video this weekend about, sorry, you just slobbered all over my face. What to look for in a dairy goat, mostly about, that's Gobbles, udder texture and teat size, and what you're looking for like in like functionality for milking. But I kind of wanted to follow up with that. So this video will have two parts basically put together from 2 different days. But I wanted just to talk about personality of goats and some other kind of things that you may not think of that would be good in goats. I don't know if you can hear Petunia. I didn't bring her anything to eat, so she's really mad. Mom doesn't always have food for you. Are you protesting? Are you mad, pig? Okay, so let's go check on the girls, feed the kitties, and the doggy. So some other things to consider if you're going to buy goats for the first time is whether you want a registered goat or a non-registered goat. The benefits of a registered goat, specifically to me, American Dairy Goat Association ADGA registered goats, is that you can go online without being a member, and it's super easy to find their pedigree. And what their pedigree tells you is kind of the quality of herd that they're going to come from. And so there are a lot of different things that the bigger breeders do to assess quality in their animals. You have a full bowl of cat. Things like linear appraisals, milk tests. So goats can earn their milk stars is a term that you will hear. And I'll try to do a video on some of that and what some of that means. I won't do that in today's video, but I'll do another video on it. So that's really helpful information. You can absolutely find a good quality unregistered goat. It's just, I feel like you have to do a little bit more homework, and you have to really spend some time maybe on that farm with the animals that are on the farm. Hi, Hank. Come on, guys, let's go on the play stuff. Let's stay out here where the grass is long. So, we have all registered goats, or goats that are from registered parents. And so, Daisy, we talked about Daisy, the Nubian. She's a grade Nubian. So, what that means is her dad was registered and had pedigree, like had lineage that we could account for. But her mom was not, but she met breed standards for Nubian, so she's considered grade. And again, I'll go over all of that in a different video. Ooh, backlit. So, registered goats are just a little bit easier way of knowing if you're getting a quality animal or not. It's not a must. If you go to a farm during breeding season where you can see that the parent goats, the dam, has a nice udder, and that you see a lot of the genetics for those animals look good as far as just looking at them, maybe not, then that's fine. I just find that to be harder overall to do. I'm trying to get them to come out here so you don't have to look at me, so you can look at goats. Say hi, Patty. So, to me, registered. Patty is registered under our herd name. She's our first goat that was registered under our herd name. She's the first doe that we've had that I have felt had good enough genetics and character to be registered. And I'm really excited about what she's going to look like udder-wise as she gets bigger. Again, I don't think registration is a must, but I do think it's helpful, especially when you're starting out and you don't particularly know what to look for. It's a good thing. And to use a reputable breeder. So here in our area, there are several between like southwest Missouri, Oklahoma, and Arkansas that have good reputations, that take their girls to shows, that do linear appraisals, that I've trusted in. That's kind of how we came across our four, Daddy, don't headbutt that, our kind of little group of Nigerians. Now, Twiz, she's AGS registered, so I don't know a whole lot about her genetics, and I really don't know, they're so curious, a whole lot about her history in general. And like I said in the first part of this video, she has a lot of really great characteristics, but she does have some things that are not so great, versus the four girls that I have from the two more reputable breeders are excellent. They're really excellent goats. But then again, with Nani, she has tiny teat orifices and not the greatest udder texture, but she's still a really great milker. So they're not going to necessarily be perfect, but you can at least have a better shot at having a good animal. The other thing is, if you go to a farm, and I would recommend, if you can, when you're buying your first goats, go to the farm that they live at, and see their setup, see what they're doing with their animals, learn as much as you can from that breeder, get their contact information. Good breeders will be willing to talk to you about their program and their process and everything that they do. And so that's a good thing too. So if somebody doesn't really want to talk to you about their goats, I'll be hesitant to buy from them. The ground's uneven. Don't need to camera. So, oh no, Daisy. So that's something else. Also, the goats should be this friendly, like they should be. When their owner walks into the pasture, they should be in their face. They should be like this girl, at least one or two of them that are really tightly bonded. No one should run away necessarily. You're new, to them. They may not be super friendly with you, but they should be with the person that's caring for them, I would think. And so that's something else. You want friendly goats. If you have a milk goat that won't let you pet them, how are you going to milk them? And that's just a sign that, like, they're not spending the time with those animals that they should be. And so that's something to look for. If you really want organic animals, then you want to know what the process is at that farm for health management, for herd health management. So are they doing, what herbal wormers do they use? They're not vaccinating. Do they blood test their herd? And so goats can be blood tested for a variety of things. CL is one of the most. And John's, yes, hi. This is how they should be. Like, goats are super curious animals, and if they're handled regularly, they should be very friendly. And it's really important that you get a friendly goat. Rebel. You are. That kind of thing. Make sure their living conditions are good. You want to make sure that these goats look like they were taken care of. The people that have them should know something about them. If you're just getting goats for pets, to eat brush, some of that stuff's not important. You don't want goats that are sick, but at the same time, if it's not an animal that you're going to have to milk every day, it's not super important that they be super friendly. If they'll come to a green bucket, I wouldn't really worry as much. But with dairy animals, number one, you want to breed them, and you want to be able to handle them if they give birth, and you want to be able to stand train them. And stand training is hard enough with a goat that loves you, much less with a goat that is not crazy about you. It's one of the reasons that I've hesitated to breed Pixie, is because she has a really weird personality, and she's completely calm with me, which is great. Is it a clean tested herd? Are they a closed herd? Are they bringing in bucks? It's a big question. So, like, if they just have does and they're bringing in another buck, they're renting a buck, is that buck healthy? Because their goats could, it's just a way to pass disease around. Stop. She's eating the knob on the camera, on the tripod. It's not for eating. It's not food. It's not. You're so bad. So just things to consider. You want to know what feed they're feeding them so that you can kind of transition them onto something else if you want to feed them something else, or you can provide that feed for them when you get them home. You want to make sure they have some kind of parasite control program. Again, ask about vaccinations. If you're not sold on an organic animal, then you want to make sure they've had their C, D, and T vaccines. And we kind of do that one of two ways. We vaccinate all of our goats, so anybody that stays here gets vaccinated, and our girls get a booster right before. I do right before breeding season every year, and so does our buck. So you want to ask about, have they done those for their little ones? If not, you'll want to do those. Some people are really into the whole organic thing right now, and they don't vaccinate. It's just whatever, fits what you want to do with your animals. I recommend vaccination. I'm a firm believer in modern medicine for myself, so I would definitely want that for my girls. Anything that can help them be healthy and strong. Right, Poppers? You're just the best goat. She's such a sweet girl. Aren't ya? Yeah. So those are the things to ask. If you're putting a deposit down on an animal, you can ask for, like, if you're communicating with someone, asking for the registration information of the mom and dad goat, the dam or the sire, so that you can look that up in the ADGA portal. And I'll do a video all in the ADGA portal and how to use that for genetics. And that just, it gives you a little bit more information, and so that's a good thing about registered animals. You want to look at their coats. The coat should be nice and shiny. A lot of this is just good copper bolus care. That their feet are taken care of. Those kind of things. I think the big thing for dairy animals, kind of to recap, is milk their mom. If you have the opportunity and you're buying a doeling, so you're buying a baby that has never been bred, or a junior doe like Pops, who's a year old, who's never had babies, and her mom is in milk, ask if you can see that goat, maybe even milk that goat to get an idea of their udder texture. Thank you, it's not all over me. Idea of teat size, udder texture, because your goat is hopefully going to be an improvement over her dam, and at least is equal quality from a good breeder. Hi, sweetie. So that would be something that I would do. Check those things that we talked about: teat length, teat orifice size, and udder texture, and just capacity. Ask, how much this is milking. A lot of breeders who show and who are fancier breeders will talk about milk in pounds, not in something that makes sense to you, because when you're measuring milk, there's foam, and pounds is a more accurate conversion. So just kind of be aware of your pounds to cups ratio with milk when you go. Those kind of things. Look at their setup. Look at the setup that the goat comes from. Make sure that they, have a good quality. It doesn't have to be the Taj Mahal of goat barns. We're definitely not, are we, Poppy? But that they live in good conditions, mostly because they're feet and parasites. I'll talk more about disbudding in another video. But if you decide that if you want to show your goats, they must be disbudded. If you're just going to be a homesteader like me, Poppy, she's biting me. Don't bite. Don't be a biter. Then it's not as important. I will say, given all the drama with Patty sticking her head through the fence, it is kind of a pain to have non-disbudded goats because they get their head stuck in the fence. I have not had an issue with horns being a dangerous thing for either the other goats that don't have horns or for humans. My girls are handled all the time. They're not rough. They're not going to headbutt me. And I've never seen Pixie is our only one that really has big horns. They haven't had them be a problem. Other people will tell you horror stories. I'm going to have 3 goats with horns this year, other than Daisy and her one wonky horn. And I just don't mind it. We will disbud next year, though. I'm going to use a different vet and be a little more proactive. He's a little bit more expensive, but he does a really great job. I can disbud my goats. I learned to do it. I have a dehorning iron. Hi, Tinker. I just really hate it. Let's just all be honest. So, we'll talk about that maybe in a different video, what the purpose of that is, but if you're going to show, they have to be disbudded. So if your kid's going to take this goat to 4-H, even if it's just going to be a family milk goat. Tinker the stinker. She's never going to be big, I've decided. She's just always going to be tiny, so she's just going to be my little pet goat. Aren't you? You go, baby. So that's my advice. I've had goats, I think for 4 years now. I have bought goats from 5 different people. Twiz came from somewhere, Daisy came from, and Daisy were my first goats, and they came from 2 different places. Twiz, no. Cece and Zelda came from the same breeder from Cadron Hills down in central Arkansas, and I love Linda. She's amazing. If you're in the Arkansas area and you are looking to buy babies, she's awesome. She takes deposits. She is amazing to work with. Will answer all your questions. Super great lady. And then I bought Bunny and Nani from a lady here locally who was getting out of goats and had bought them from Michelle Hughes at Garden and Goats. Also a really excellent breeder up in Missouri. And she had bought them directly from Michelle. And so I knew where they had come from. So those are my recommendations. I hope this is helpful if you're getting started, if you're thinking about getting goats. There are a lot of really great breeders in our area. The guy that we bought Luke from, who is our beautiful buck with the beard, they got out of goats, and that was the reason that, or got out of Nigerians, that's the reason we got him. And so sometimes that's, if you don't have a big budget, and I feel like in Arkansas even our higher end goats are not as expensive as they can be in other places in the country, then finding a breeder who's retiring, somebody who's like reducing their herd significantly, or somebody's getting out, is a good way to get really nice animals at a discount, but that's, you know, kind of hard to find. It's gonna be fall here soon, and it's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna be out here every afternoon hanging out with these guys and just having a blast. I can't wait. Patty's been like all about the naps today. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful and informative. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm not an expert, but I have bought several goats, and I do know mistakes that I've made, and I've worked with some really great breeders and some really helpful people along the way. Goat people are usually pretty awesome. If you're trying to buy from somebody and they're not helpful, maybe look somewhere else if you've got another option. So, like this video, leave me a comment, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in